We know that Godzilla could beat King Kong. We know that Godzilla could beat Mechazilla. We know that he could beat Mecha King Kong. Whatever Titan in the Godzilla universe he could beat. Godzilla is him. But the real question is, can Godzilla beat the rumbling? Let us check this out by Goji Center. I seen one streamer check this out, so I'm gonna check this out too. I see other streamers check out some of his other content, but we're here to see, can Godzilla really stop the rumbling? Here's what would actually happen. Let us see
in this
if this
episode
is accurate. Let us see where the fuck my headphones are. Oh, I need my headphones. Keep forgetting to plug my shit in. Hold on. Pause. Plug my shit in. Hold on. Okay, are we good? Yes, indeed. Alright. Let us see what would happen. Where the fuck is my volume, bitch?
In this episode, legendary Godzilla will be tasked to stop one of the most destructive cataclysms in history. An apocalyptic event set to destroy all life on Earth in the most devastating and horrifying way imaginable. This, ladies and gentlemen,
I hope there's no spoilers. Is there spoilers? Okay.
Is the
Just making
rumbling.
sure.
Today we will focus on
I'm
the
an anime
challenges
only
that
for
the
Attack on
G-Men
Titan.
will face upon colliding with entire
The moment I see
legions of
spoilers, I'm
colossal
clicking off.
titans,
I'm
and
not
discuss
posting this shit.
Godzilla's preferred strategies that will either end this rumbling once and for all, or possibly get him killed. Will the G-Man prevail and establish order once again on the planet, or
Let me
will
know in
he
the comments
perish
what y'all
with the
think.
rest? All this and more in today's episode, Legendary Godzilla versus the Rumbling. Let's first explain what the
Honestly, I feel like he could beat it, but it depends on how long he could do a fire blast. Then, you know, obviously, that would explain it. If he can't do a fire blast for like a long periods of time, or like however long he wants to, then that might be a problem for him. I think that's just the key to winning
actually
this.
is. In the global hit anime known as Attack on Titan, we are introduced to an island known as Paradis, home of a group of people known as the
I think
Eldians.
it's called Paradise.
This place's most notable
I think it's called
structures
Paradis,
were
but
these
whatever.
3 walls that provided refuge for its inhabitants. This particular set of structures will be very important in this episode, so pay close attention. This said rumbling is an event that is triggered by a supernatural being known as the Founding Titan, which would unleash legions of massive humanoid creatures known as Colossal Titans. These would then proceed to trample everything in their path, causing death, destruction, and inevitable doom on the rest of the inhabitants of the world. What exactly are these things? As their name suggests, colossal, or sometimes referred to as Colossus Titans, are gigantic skinless humanoid beings that are around 60 meters in height. Each of these has regenerative attributes, capable of regenerating lost limbs, organs, and anything severely damaged from cuts or explosives. But the rumbling isn't just made up of a few of these. To say there are many more is an understatement. Back to these walls. Turns out that these 50-meter defensive structures were actually made up of many colossal titans that hardened into the shape of these walls.
Okay,
so now we can see that we aren't dealing with thousands of these,
crazy.
but potentially hundreds of thousands of colossal titans waiting to be unleashed. We know what...
Hold on. There's no spoiler warning? Bro, I'm scared.
Some of you are thinking. It was said by an individual known as Carl Fritz that there were tens of millions. This was most likely an exaggeration, as well as William Tyburn's statement that there were millions as well. We really can't take this at face value, since the number doesn't add up. Here at Goji, we did you guys a favor and made a rough estimate on how many colossal titans would fit inside these walls. We won't bore you with all the math involved, but we went ahead and figured that these walls would most likely fit anywhere between 573 to 590,000 colossal titans.
That's crazy.
Although large, these massive creatures would move at speeds faster than a sprinting human, and even faster than a galloping horse. One of the commanders of the Survey Corps even claimed the rumbling could travel 600 kilometers inland within half a day, which puts their speed at around 50 kilometers per hour. Now that we have a good estimate of how many colossal titans Godzilla will face, let's now enter the simulation platform. Number 1, the first encounter.
Imagine, no, that's crazy. Imagine these niggas just start running. Oh my gosh. That would have been GG's. Oh my gosh. If the author would have just made them start running, bro.
Will Godzilla even care about the destruction of mankind? Bro. Well, that depends. In the past, the G-Man has been a bit nonchalant when witnessing humans get killed as collateral damage. He's killed his fair share himself as well. To answer this question and to find out whether or not he'll get pissed at the rumbling, we need to understand his role in the planet, which is to maintain balance, equilibrium on Earth. Anything that contributes to the well-being of the Earth
will... I thought Godzilla was the bad guy. Like King Kong was the good guy.
Be on Godzilla's good side, and anything that does not will face his wrath. In this scenario, the right side, and anything that does not will face his wrath. In this scenario, the rumbling will begin here, the island of Madagascar. Oh, you thought the world of Attack on Titan is just random splotches of land? Watch this. In order to hit the mainland, this army of colossal titans will have to cross the Mozambique Channel and head towards the African mainland. The objective, destroy all human life outside of this body of land. The side effects of having tons of colossal titans swimming about are going to be quite devastating. These titans emit extremely hot gases that take form as steam. These in turn will cause the surrounding water to boil, literally cooking all life forms near the surface of the water along the rumbling's trajectory, turning the ocean into a salty fish soup. Godzilla will inevitably get a whiff of this and immediately get pissed. It's also important to note that the G-Man would have obviously felt something once the rumbling actually started. More on this later. But now we can bring up the fact that this kaiju is actually in tune.
They got comics for Godzilla? I guess he's a Japanese type of creature, right? So I guess he's like
synced with the ocean
they got like a manga for him.
It can literally feel this happening, and the sting of death would have been detected thousands of miles away. The G-Man has now detected this disturbance and now heads towards the incoming rumbling. In the latest episode, we see that the entire Global Alliance lined up their fleet to face the incoming rumbling, armed with the latest up-to-date military technology. Similar to some of the super weapons seen in War Thunder, our sponsor. The most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made.
Bro, there was something about that. Man, get your ass up, bro. I knew he was about to do an ad. I knew it. Come on now.
Thanks to War Thunder for heads toward the rumbling, we can be sure that the G-Man will waste no time taking the long route.
I saw that coming.
He's taking shortcuts. If the rumbling takes place in the MonsterVerse cinematic universe, Godzilla will leverage vortexes that are located in the oceans. These allow Titans to travel from point A to point B in record time, similar to how he did this in King of the Monsters. This will allow Godzilla to get there faster and fight some of these colossal Titans in a more favorable arena. Water. Except this water is boiling hot. Will this be a problem for Godzilla? Absolutely not. It is actually a lot more likely that the insides of Godzilla are a lot hotter than the surrounding boiling water.
Because I was thinking maybe, and I was hoping this wasn't the case, like maybe the inside of Godzilla was hot. Well, the inside of his body could withstand the heat because he obviously shoots fire, but the outside of him would be very sensitive to hot things. So that's good. He's immune to hot things on the outside.
This
as
is
well.
because the G-Man's biology can be described as thermonuclear, powered by an internal biological nuclear reactor of sorts that keeps this Titan alive and also aids in the powering of his most important weapon of all, his atomic breath. There was no doubt that Godzilla would almost have to rely on this weapon if he were ever to stand a chance here, which brings the question, could Godzilla defeat all of these 570,000 plus colossal titans absent atomic breath? We know the G-Man's melee prowess is almost second to none. These things are basically half his height, which means that these would easily be dispatched on both land and sea. On land, the G-Man could rely on his impressive set of jaws, clawed hands, and a sledgehammer of a tail that would tear these things apart. On water, Godzilla would have to just swim through them, leveraging his sharp dorsals with his dorsal slice maneuver. The problem with this is that it would take the G-Man weeks or even months to catch up and destroy every single individual colossal titan without taking any breaks, only to turn back and find that these things will regenerate after getting all cut up. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, the only way to effectively kill these types of titans is a cut through the nape.
Godzilla would have to know that prior to take out the nape of their necks. The nape.
And even with Godzilla's habit of cutting off heads, this will take too long a time to kill all colossal titans. This is where the atomic breath comes into play. But can Godzilla kill all the colossal titans with atomic breath? We would like to say yes, but that all depends on several factors, such as how spaced out or densely packed they are in a given area, how they are arranged, and how far this atomic breath can reach. In GVK, we witnessed Godzilla literally aim towards the center of the Earth and blast a hole through the crust and mantle, reaching the surface of the hollow Earth. But how much atomic breath was this, and how far did it reach? The crust of the Earth can vary in depth anywhere from 5 to 100 kilometers, depending on where you're standing. The mantle can reach depths of up to 2,900 kilometers. Why is this information important? Well, if we compare this distance to the added lengths of all the walls in Paradise Island, which in turn gives us a good distance to the added length. Why is this information important? Well, if we compare this distance to the added lengths of all the walls in Paradise Island, which in turn gives us a good estimate of how many colossal titans would fill this distance, we see that if we line up all the colossal titans side by side, this would still be a larger distance than what Godzilla blasted through in Hong Kong. Admittedly, stone, sediments, metal, and molten rock are a lot more difficult to blast through than tall, fleshy monsters. Yet this distance is still many times shorter than this line of titans. Godzilla could probably wipe out most of the colossal titans, but would be heavily, if not totally, depleted of energy at the end. And that's assuming these titans are all at once placed in a single line. Remember, if Godzilla takes a break and recovers, the remainder of the colossal titans would continue their warpath of destruction. So perhaps trying to take out every single one of these titans is not the best idea. Would Godzilla figure this out? Yes, and here's why. Number 2, the Alphas. Once the G-Man encounters hundreds of thousands of swimming titans, he'll first gauge the threat by destroying a few of them with the atomic ray. Godzilla's habit of aiming at the head will appear again, allowing him to destroy the napes of each of these colossal titans, preventing them from regenerating again. But upon looking at the horizon and seeing the plethora of colossal titans, the G-Man now has a decision to make. Waste his time trying to take out all of these smaller titans, or going to the source of the problem. That's right, alpha titans such as Godzilla process things more differently than you might think. Upon seeing how all of these creatures are moving with a single purpose, he'll immediately confirm that there is in fact something else controlling these titans. Something is telling them what to do. Another leader, another
Godzilla. So just like a different type of Godzilla?
Alpha. If you know legendary Godzilla, you'll know where this is going. One of Godzilla's many attributes is the ability to detect other alpha titans around the globe, or at least determine the existence of another giant monster assuming a leadership role. In the past, we've seen a similar scenario where the G-Man determined that this janitor swarm was actually led by a larger specimen. By observing their behaviors, Godzilla was quickly able to determine that there is in fact someone behind all of the behaviors. Godzilla was quickly able.
I can't imagine. Obviously, he's probably not talking, but I can't imagine Godzilla being on some anime shit like, shing! They do not act on alone, but as if they share the same mind. Something's amiss. I see now. That is the source of this power. This mind control. Well, it seems I figured out the solution. Like, what? There's no way Godzilla's on that type of timing. You're like a Shikamaru type
Able
of
to
nigga.
determine that there is in fact someone behind all of this, and instead of wasting its atomic breath
like
and
a
energy
light
on
alchemy.
500,000 of these colossal titans, he's heading for the source. Godzilla will now try to take out the founding titan. Now, it is quite possible that this founding titan could literally be anywhere, which means getting to it would be an uphill battle of pushing through hundreds of thousands of colossal titans.
this
And
nigga,
at this
we
point,
could
it could
literally
have
see
already
him
made
right
landfall.
there.
In this scenario, Godzilla pushes
You
through
won't miss him.
tons of colossal titans, cutting through them
You all
like a
see him.
hot knife through butter, blasting his way through walls of meat, leaving piles of burnt flesh in his wake. At last, the G-Man has reached the founding titan, but is met with a nasty surprise. This thing is a lot bigger than he imagined. The man controlling this massive creature is known as Eren Yeager, who just recently
Eren
acquired the
Yeager.
full power of the founding titan, and whose titan's embodiment resembles something never seen before. This eccentric shape possibly is a result of Eren's head being detached from his body upon transformation, creating this long, massive line of rib-like structure. There are no real concrete official sizes, but by observing how it compares to the surrounding colossal titans, we can conclude that Eren's founding titan towers over Godzilla at approximately 350 meters in height. Yeah, that's taller than the Eiffel Tower, and anywhere between 800 to
Actually, not the
900
case.
meters in length. Godzilla is now dwarfed, but size is the least of things here. This thing has some serious abilities up its sleeve. Eren Yeager holds 3 of the 9 Titans: the Founding, Attack, and Warhammer Titan. The ability to summon any of the past Titan shifters, ability to create more colossal Titans, and ability to morph into any of the Titan forms. There are more abilities, but in this episode we'll focus on the abilities relevant to a fight against Godzilla. So now we see that there is a really good reason why Godzilla is now aiming to take out the Founding Titan.
Damn.
In terms
Yeah,
of
that
melee
boy.
prowess,
Moving
Eren's
that
Founding
booty
Titan
cheeks
really
in
can't
the
do
back.
much, since its physical build compared to Godzilla's is still way too fragile to actually engage in a 1v1 combat. Its limbs would snap upon making contact with a robust creature like the G-Man. Even if Eren does morph into any of the other Titan forms, Godzilla would
That boy
still
all
be able to
bones.
physically outclass any of these
boy
9
skinny as
Titan
hell.
forms. So what
No meat
can
on his
Eren's
bones.
Founding Titan do against Godzilla, and how will the G-Man react upon seeing such a monstrosity of a Titan? Let's find out. Number 3, Godzilla vs. Founding Titan. Godzilla first lets out a roar of defiance against the much larger Founding Titan, and begins to charge its atomic breath while running to get a closer look to assess this threat and look for weaknesses. But as Godzilla begins to close the distance, this Titan triggers one of his many abilities: Hardened Spikes. This natural hardening ability is courtesy of the Warhammer Titan, allowing this shifter to create almost any sort of structure and weapon such as spikes. These can grow pretty large. They're made out of hardened Titan flesh. But while these could possibly pierce, there is no guarantee that these could cause lethal damage to an extremely dense Titan like the G-Man. The problem with this ability
The
is that it
G-Man.
must be used in moderation. Using it too much will exhaust the Titan shifter. These spikes, however, would keep him at bay for now. So it's evident at this point that this isn't really a question of if Godzilla can stop the rumbling, but can Godzilla defeat this Founding Titan? Even at a distance, the Founding Titan would still be at range for Godzilla. And given his habit at aiming for the head, this atomic ray with temperatures of more than 500,000 degrees Celsius will make way into the Founding Titan's skull, through the back of the head, and destroying Eren Yeager's head, which controls this Founding Titan. The death of Eren Yeager now means that the power of the Titans is now relinquished, and all Titans in existence would vanish before everyone's eyes. The rumbling in Attack on Titan could not be stopped with the current technology available in this era. Had this rumbling occurred during the late World War II, Cold War era, and beyond, the rumbling would have been obsolete, especially given the advent of missile and atomic weaponry. And since Godzilla himself is the embodiment of atomic weapons, there is no doubt that a creature this large, with such weapons, would have no problem defeating any sort of Titan. So, to finish off, could the
The King of Titans, hey man,
rumbling
Godzilla.
actually work in the MonsterVerse cinematic universe? If Godzilla decides to solo this work in the MonsterVerse cinematic
Could the rumbling be successful in the MonsterVerse
universe? If Godzilla decides to solo this entire event, he could. Only if he goes directly for the founding Titan. A more realistic scenario would be Godzilla summoning his own army of Titans. Kaiju including Titanus Rodan, Mothra, Behemoth, Methuselah, Scylla, Amulek, Kong, and many other kaiju that would rise up as a pack and put an end to this rumbling.
About the other
If you enjoy
Titans,
fun crossovers and what-if scenarios
King Kong,
involving kaiju, monsters, and dinosaurs, you've officially found the best channel for this sort of content. Subscribe, like this video, and don't forget to join War Thunder and get your hands on premium vehicles, premium account,
Yo, W video. Interesting. It didn't really, I mean, I guess he doesn't really know himself. Well, obviously, because, you know, he has to make up scenarios and stuff. But obviously the measurements and stuff, those are accurate based on, you know, what the authors say it is. So like Godzilla is like 350 feet, or like the Titans are like 340, then obviously those are the measurements you have to use in order to accurately assess this. But hey, who knows? I probably personally think that Godzilla would win, honestly, because all I needed to know was that he could handle the heat, and if he could handle the heat, then he's good, you know. But anyways, that is it for this video, y'all. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on this video, subscribe for more content, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.